Welcome to Continue Learning. In the third lesson of a thorough understanding of blockchain from 0 to 1, we will explore the principles behind how Bitcoin transactions work. To begin the third lesson, let's briefly review the core content of the second lesson. The second lesson mainly introduces the Bitcoin transaction mechanism and introduces the 7 basic concepts of blockchain. Do you remember how much you kept? Let's review it together. The Bitcoin transaction mechanism is as simple as transferring money with a bank card. Proceed as follows. First, log into your Bitcoin wallet. Second, choose which Bitcoin address you want to send coins from. Third, fill in the recipient address, the amount to be sent, and the transaction fee. Finally, you enter your password to sign and wait for the miners to process it. And you're done. The 7 basic concepts of blockchain are as follows. Mining. The process of obtaining transaction record rights is often likened to mining. Miners. These are individuals or organizations that compete to mine new blocks in the blockchain. Hashrati. If we think of a mining rig as a physical entity, then Hashrati is a measure of its computing power. Proof of work, POW. Simply put, the more work you do, the more money you make, abbreviated as POW. Proof of stake, POS. Simply put, the more you hold, the more you earn, referred to as POS. Blocks. Approximately every 10 minutes, a new page appears on the network's ledger. We call it a block. Blockchain. Each block is time-stamped and connected in strict chronological order to form what we call a blockchain. The concepts in Lesson 2 are crucial, and I recommend reviewing them over and over again as they will help you in your future studies. Now, let's start Lesson 3. We know that in 2008, a mysterious man named Satoshi Nakamoto invented Bitcoin in response to the global economic crisis at that time. Satoshi Nakamoto's idea was to build a currency issuance system without a central issuing authority to prevent excessive inflation and ensure fairness. As a result, Satoshi Nakamoto created the Bitcoin system. However, how does Bitcoin's issuance and transaction ledger work in the context of decentralization? Satoshi Nakamoto established the following rules. First of all, the Bitcoin issuance mechanism stipulates that the total number of Bitcoins is 21 million. Approximately every 10 minutes, a new block is added to the ledger, and with it, new Bitcoins are issued. Satoshi also noted that miners will initially be rewarded 50 Bitcoins per block, and this reward will be halved every 210,000 blocks until 2140, when all Bitcoins will be issued. For example, if you do the math, 210,000 blocks would theoretically take 1,458.3 days, or approximately 3.99 years. This is where the popular phrase, Bitcoin halving every 4 years, comes from. The most recent halving occurred on July 8, 2016, reducing the reward per block to 12.5 Bitcoins. You may be wondering how to determine the current block number. It's easy. You can use the block height to identify it. Block height represents the number of blocks added since the first Bitcoin block. You can check the height of the latest block in any Bitcoin browser. Bitcoin uses a proof of work, POW mechanism, where miners compete to find the correct solution to a mathematical problem to gain the right to record transactions in blocks. This guarantees the uniqueness of transaction records in a decentralized system. You may ask, why do miners record transactions while consuming computing power and electricity? What's in it for them? The brilliance of Satoshi's invention is that he tied the issuance of Bitcoin to the competition to record transactions. Every time a miner gains the right to record a transaction, they are rewarded with newly issued Bitcoins. So, the computer with the fastest calculation speed will receive a certain number of Bitcoins in each round. In 2017, if you were a miner and won the contest, you would be rewarded with 12.5 newly minted Bitcoins plus transaction fees for all transactions recorded in the block, which could be a fraction of 1 Bitcoin to between 2 Bitcoins. As new Bitcoins are halved every 4 years, rewards are expected to decrease. Despite this, miners still have an incentive to mine due to transaction fees. As the number of Bitcoin users and institutions grows, and the frequency of Bitcoin transactions increases, transaction fees will become the main source of income for miners. In the second lesson, we discussed that Bitcoin transactions are similar to traditional bank transfers. Users select their Bitcoin address, specify the recipient's address, the amount they want to transfer, and the transaction fee. They sign the transaction with their private key, submit it for processing, and miners add it to the blockchain. Each Bitcoin block has a maximum size of 1 megabyte, which can hold approximately 1,000 transactions. When the network is less crowded, it might take around 10 minutes for a transaction to be confirmed in the next block. However, during periods of high transaction volume, users may experience longer confirmation times as miners prioritize transactions with higher fees. Bitcoin's design, with its issuance, transaction processing, and security tied together through a consensus mechanism, allows the system to operate autonomously. Despite the mysterious disappearance of Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin continues to thrive as a robust and decentralized system. Lastly, it's worth noting that while the total supply of Bitcoin is limited to 21 million, each Bitcoin can be divided into 8 decimal places. This means you can send very small fractions of a Bitcoin to others, making it highly divisible. Congratulations on completing the third lesson in our journey from 0 to 1 in understanding blockchain. We'll see you in the next lesson.